This week, Embark officially unveiled the 2026 roadmap titled Escalation, outlining new content beginning as early as this Tuesday and running through April. The roadmap teases new map conditions, escalating arc threats, and a brand new map planned for later this spring. Community reaction has been largely positive, with excitement around the long term direction. At the same time, there's been growing frustration around timing, recent server instability, and matchmaking issues reported over the weekend. Discussions around cheating, exploit fixes, and anti cheat enforcement remain highly active, even as players' engagements appears relatively robust heading into 2026. We will also touch on recent interviews with lead designer Virgil Watkins, including his thoughts on a Destiny-like walkable hub for Esperanza, ongoing frustration around late spawns, and broader balance concerns. While we have seen minor patches tuning some weapons down recently, skill tree balance remains an open discussion, something Watkins has also addressed. Before we dive in, if you find this weekly recap valuable, I would appreciate a like to help signal that this kind of coverage is useful. Timestamps are included below if you want to jump between topics. There is a lot to cover this week, so let's get started. The topic dominating discussion this week is the newly revealed 2026 roadmap. Lead designer Virgil Watkins has appeared in several recent articles outlining Embark's outlook for the year, and a consistent theme across these interviews is the idea of escalating PvE, fitting given the roadmap's title. In Embark's own words, the cold snap has passed, but its danger casts a long shadow. Extreme weather will continue to test raiders as they scavenge the surface for the resources that keep Speranza running. The increased arc presence continues to trouble Shani as the Rust Belt grows more overwhelmed, but no one holds all the pieces. The scale of the impending escalation remains unknown. The studio clearly wants to communicate that the Rust Belt is becoming increasingly volatile, with rising arc presence and environmental pressure on players. In an article published by Games Radar on the 18th, Watkins acknowledged that arc enemies have become somewhat trivialized as players have improved. As a result, beginning in February, we can expect new arc threats as well as updates to existing content through map changes and conditions. We will not see a brand new map until April, which has understandably frustrated some players. Stella Montes launched back in November as a part of the Northline update, meaning players are facing a roughly 5-month wait between new maps. Watkins has spoke openly about the challenge of designing thematically cohesive environments, emphasizing that Embark does not want to release content purely for the sake of it. Personally, my expectations is that February's Shrouded Sky update will be substantial. Headwinds launching this Tuesday already gives us a new map condition, and February promises additional updates, a major map condition, and a new arc threat. Whether that threat is an entirely new enemy or an evolution of existing arc, similar to the Shredder's post-Stella Montes changes, remains to be seen, but either approach could meaningfully shake up gameplay. Over the weekend, there were also widespread reports of server instability. I've personally been away for work, but many players reported long queue times, loading issues, and disconnects mid-match, often resulting in lost gear. Down detectors showed a significant spike in reports on Saturday, and while the situation appears to have stabilized, there has been no formal public statement beyond Embark's Discord. Historically, affected players have been compensated, and I would expect the same here. If you experience issues or have additional context, feel free to share it in the comments down below. We will also touch on recent interviews with lead designer Virgil Watkins, where he has been fairly open about some of the more controversial design discussions surrounding arcraiders, most notably late spawns, the idea of a walkable hub in Speranza, and broader balance concerns. Starting with late spawns, this has been one of the most consistently criticized systems in the game. In a recent interview with GamesRadar, Watkins directly acknowledged player frustration, stating that spawning into a raid with limited time left really sucks, especially when players are trying to complete specific objectives or trials and simply don't have the time to do so. At the same time, Watkins explained why the system exists in the first place. According to Embark's internal data, late joiners tend to economically profit more than players who spawn in at the start of the raid. Late spawns often encounter quieter lobbies, leftover loot from earlier fights, and opportunities to extract with high-value items without engaging in prolonged combat. The system also helps keep raids populated and prevents low player matches. That said, Watkins made it clear that Embark understands how frustrating this feels when players are time constrained or working towards specific goals, and he confirmed that the team is actively discussing ways to reduce that friction, particularly when late spawns undermine objective-based gameplay. This framing helps explain why the debate remains so heated. The system serves a purpose, but the player experience does not always align with that intent. Another topic that has gained traction this week is the idea of a walkable and immersive Speranza functioning as a social hub. Watkins confirmed in an interview with GamesRadar that this concept has been discussed internally since early development, but has consistently been limited by time and scope. Community sentiment here is mixed. Some players welcome the immersion and social potential, while others worry that development resources would be better spent on maps, weapons, and new arc threats. There are also concerns that physically moving between vendors and crafting stations could further slow down the already criticized flow between matches. Watkins addressed this directly, stating that while he enjoys the aesthetic of a walkable hub, he would want to preserve the speed and efficiency of menu-based interactions. He specifically noted that the goal would be to avoid situations where players feel forced to run between NPCs just to manage their loadouts. This suggests a desire to balance immersion without sacrificing usability. Trading was also discussed. Watkins confirmed that Embark wants to expand on social trading interactions, but not in the form of an auction house. Instead, the focus would be on more tactile player-to-player exchanges, such as directly handing items to another player, while avoiding systems that reduce progression to simple currency accumulation. However, this raises valid concerns around real money trading. Boosting services and item sales already exists outside the game, and expanding trading systems could unintentionally amplify those problems. Watkins has been clear that he does not want arc raiders to become just about coins, and this is clearly an area Embark will need to approach carefully moving forward. Cheating and exploits remain a difficult topic for arc raiders. This week, Embark finally addressed several Stella Montes out-of-bounds exploits that allowed players to attack others from unintended areas. While fixes have rolled out, criticism remains around how long these exploits persisted. Even now, players report being able to hide in locations like Seed Vault Airshaft to gain unfair advantages. Extraction camping is one thing, but exploits that bypass intended gameplay systems cross a line. Embark has been issuing bans, which is necessary, but long-term solutions need to come from faster detection and more deliberate fixes. The fact that new duplication exploits continue to surface even after recent patches understandably frustrates the community. Finally, let's talk briefly about player counts. As of recording, arcraiders sits comfortably within the top 5 daily active games on Steam and remains near the top of the global sales charts. The 30-day average is approximately 261k, down about 4.3% month over month. While the charts show slightly lower weekly highs and lows, this is still a strong performance for a live service game currently between major content drops. With Headwinds launching this Tuesday, I expect we'll see engagement rebound. That's it for this week's arcraiders update. Are you excited for the Headwinds patch? What do you think the new minor map condition will be? Given Embark's focus on extreme weather and the artwork itself, something like a sandstorm feels plausible, while a full toxic swamp condition would likely be too complex to classify as minor. My name is Haj. Thank you for watching, and if you made it to the end, I would really appreciate a like. Feel free to share your thoughts on the current state of arcraiders and any constructive feedback on this video in the comments down below. Take care of each other when going topside, and happy raiding.